guys, it's been a long night. I certainly need to pee. I'm sure some of you need to pee. I'm sure someone needs a drink and a smoke. And I'm sorry that all I have to offer you is a little bit of fiction. So I wanted to thank, first of all, everyone for being here to celebrate this with us. It's a really nice moment. I want to thank Colum, Peter, who's not here. I want to thank Nathan, Claire Massoud, and Patrick McGraw, of course. And so most of all, I wanted to thank my classmates. It's been really a really special 2 years, and for your insight, for your generosity, and for your friendship. It's been pretty impressive. So I'm going to read from the novel that I'm working on, which is set in Seattle in November 1999 at the what are now infamous WTO protests. And I'm going to read three short sections that introduce some characters. It should be pretty evident who they are. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. 1. 10 officers are watching the protesters moving eastbound down Union. They stand in small groups talking, young crew-cut men in their 30s and 40s, a few women. Julia is standing on the corner, hands on her hips, talking to Tuck. Just a kid from Oklahoma, he is barrel-chested and big. And ever since he joined the SPD, he's been trying to sleep with Julia. The guys all laugh. Everyone wants to sleep with Juju. That blonde hair pulled tight in a bun, those hazel green eyes. Good luck, kid. They're in full riot gear, and Julia's got one hand resting on the butt of her department-issued pepper spray, the other tapping her riot baton nervously against her leg. A young woman in jeans is circulating, offering the cops coffees from a tray. She nods towards the protester, says, "I don't know what they hope to accomplish." Julia and Tuck say nothing. "Free trade," she says, "loans. What does this have to do with anything?" Tuck nods, takes the styrofoam cup, and the woman smiles neighborly. Julia asks her to please step away from the curb. As the woman moves off, Tuck drops Ju a wink and sips his coffee. Julia's smile flashes white, mouth bent in a grin behind the polycarbonate faceplate. They stand and sip and watch the marchers marching towards wherever. They call their armored vehicle Peacekeeper. 2. This brown-skinned man balanced precariously on his improvised stage of salmon crates. He could be homeless if it weren't for the suit. A black and white affair with a pair of pants that he might have found in a dumpster or the back seat of a bus. We want nothing unusual, he says. A black woman in her 60s with her salt and pepper hair cropped short watches him clearing his throat at the podium. She nudges her friend from the Sierra Club and stops. All around her they are marching and chanting, a dense cluster of bodies, all heat and the human smell of them, a damp funk in the morning air. Seems like they're coming out from every street, spilling out into the lanes in waves, chanting and singing and marching, a sort of million-voiced ocean roar of a congested city street in Delhi or Caracas. Their voices bouncing off the metro buses parked around the convention center, careening down the alleys and up through the air vents of the Sheraton Hotel, a wisp of a chant that swirls around the breaching whales out in Puget Sound, slipping down through the manhole covers, echoing around the corners of the city's Christmas-time streets. 3 men on stilts go waltzing by dressed as butterflies. She sees a young girl sitting alone in an intersection, a World War II gas mask slung around her neck. She sees a line of police in riot gear and an armored vehicle 2 blocks down, waiting. Her name is Suzanne Johnson, and all morning she has listened to the speeches, and she wouldn't be here if she didn't believe, if there wasn't something that kept her up at night, some dim intuition that something is going wrong, very wrong in the world. The man says, "For thousands of years we have grown our own potatoes, our corn, our own rice. We have fished our own rivers and built our own homes, but now they tell us we are backwards," he says. They tell us we need their help. These men and women, these lovely, earnest experts who are afraid to drink our water, they will tell us if our father's knowledge has any use. Down the street, the cops are beginning to advance. High-stepping through the seated crowd, they are out in front of their armored vehicle working their batons. Her friend says, "I think I gotta pee, Suze." Suzanne shushes her away with a flapping hand. 3. 3. This tall woman bending down behind an empty police cruiser is known by the name Kingfisher. Her friends just call her King. She likes King, the small bite of irony, This lean woman who runs an animal rescue shelter, who has dark circles under her eyes and a kind smile that creases her mouth, which you could see if she were not wearing a black ski mask. King has a long blade in her hands. She's moving down the line of empty cop cars, methodically slashing the rubber tires. She's 33, she's unmarried. She has a master's degree in sociology from the University of Washington. The way she lifts the knife all the way to her shoulder before plunging it through a tire wall, the deep ragged grooves as she works the blade back and forth, heartbeat rising. The way she walks from cruiser to cruiser in her black boots, there is a care to her, some deep and grieving disappointment that gives her steps a cold purpose. That sick feeling of helplessness as she lays alone in her bed at night, dogs curled at her feet. Global capitalism. Her mind spins in impotent circles. She feels it like a block of ice lodged in her chest, and she knows exactly what she's doing. This soon-to-be celebrity of the nightly news who wears a black mask and carries a knife, and would like more than anything to remember, but cannot. A time when she was still a little girl tugging on her mom's hand in some innocent supermarket aisle.